Every morning, millions of people clock into their shifts. It is a safe bet that exactly zero walked through those doors hoping to get injured. Regardless of the job, the industry, or the specific daily tasks, everyone shares the exact same baseline objective: finish the work and return home entirely unharmed. But if that goal is universal, we have to ask why thousands of severe workplace accidents still happen every single day. The difference between clocking out normally and ending up in an emergency room rarely comes down to random bad luck. Instead, it traces back to a hidden cognitive variable, our attitude, which determines the specific actions we take in the moment. Think of this like a controlled experiment. We have two workers, Mark and Sean. The external variables are identical. They are assigned the exact same task on the same machine, in the exact same environment, with the same goal. We can map their outcomes using a flowchart called the ABR model: attitude, behavior, and results. It originates with attitude, a person's initial thought process. This mindset spills into the physical world as observable behavior. Finally, those behaviors directly create the final results. To see how this divergence happens in practice, let's look at Mark and Sean's specific assignment. They are handling a routine mechanical task that strictly requires the use of heavy-duty safety gloves. Internally, Sean views these safety protocols as an annoying bottleneck. His internal thought process prioritizes convenience, finding the fastest and easiest way to check the task off his list. Following the ABR model, that attitude forces a specific behavior. Sean takes off his safety gloves because they feel like an obstacle. Mark operates from an entirely different cognitive baseline. His internal focus is firmly set on protecting his hands, and he accepts that working safely might mean the task takes slightly longer. Driven by that protective mindset, Mark chooses to keep his gloves on and perform the work according to procedure, even if it feels a bit cumbersome. Notice what happened here. Before any physical hazard even materialized, their trajectories completely diverged based solely on how they framed the task in their own heads. Then, the uncontrollable variable hits. Without warning, the equipment they are working on abruptly and violently jerks. Mark is startled by the sudden shift. But because his physical behavior matched standard protocol, the heavy gloves absorb the mechanical impact, leaving him completely unharmed. Sean's bare hand catches a sharp edge of the machinery. He sustains a small cut, but because his attitude is still focused on speed, he dismisses the wound, wipes the blood away, and keeps working without treating it. Over the next few days, that lack of basic care catches up with him. Bacteria enter the untreated cut, and what started as a simple scratch begins to swell, turn dark, and throb with a deep infection. By the time he reaches the hospital, the infection has spread to his bloodstream. Doctors diagnose him with sepsis, a life-threatening condition that requires emergency treatment and forces him into 2 full months of medical leave. This massive medical crisis traces back to a single fleeting thought, that his safety was less important than his convenience. Look at the difference in these two outcomes. 2 workers started their shift aiming for the exact same destination, yet they ended up in wildly different realities. The ultimate lesson of the ABR framework is that we have very little authority over our external environment. Machinery will malfunction, heavy objects will shift, and hazards will inevitably appear. Even our own physical behavior is just a downstream symptom. The only variable we can actually command is our internal attitude, the cognitive filter we use to make decisions before the work even begins. Evaluate the results you expect to achieve at work today. Now ask yourself, is the attitude you brought with you actually capable of delivering them?